Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's September 2nd, 2012. And this time around, we're going to be talking about an idea called open voiced triad chords. And I was sent an email from Thomas. He's out in Manchester, United Kingdom. He wrote in saying, I've spent years on single note chops. So one question I have is how to create chords that sound different from the garden variety I already know. My question is specifically on the style of chords Eric Johnson uses that he calls open voiced triad chords. Any help here would be excellent. From Thomas in Manchester, United Kingdom. Well, thanks for writing in, Thomas. You know, this idea of creating open voiced triads is one of taking the middle note of a close voiced triad and playing it an octave higher or lower. So, for example, if you were to take the close voiced fifth string root D chord, where you're just playing D, F sharp, A off of the fifth string to the third string. And if you were to go and take the third degree up an octave higher to the second guitar string, you'd achieve a very nice chord sound. It's bright, it has a nice voicing, and it's a D major chord with just a little bit different color. So let's zoom in on the fretboard and see how a number of other voicings can be voiced using this similar concept. Let's begin with a recap of how that common root position close voiced D major chord, just going 1, 3, 5, D, F sharp, A off the fifth string, can flip into several open voiced versions. Now off of the root position from fifth string, we saw how the third degree F sharp note of that root position D major triad can move up to the second string and create this voicing here in fifth position. But another popular voicing that you might just have seen before is achieved by placing the third, the F sharp, down onto the bass string on the sixth string there. It's a very common open position D major, so you may have experience with this one as well. If we travel a little further up the fretboard to the ninth position, we can create another really cool open voiced D major triad from the fifth string root. So that'll place our F sharp in the bass. We'll have our D at the 12th fret of the fourth string, and then up on top, skipping all the way to the second string, we'll have our A note, the fifth degree. Okay, one more pattern that actually is a power chord, but a very cool chord nonetheless. I wanted to show this before we move on to the sixth string for another run of patterns, and this is the second position, D fifth. If you like Eric Johnson, this is a really cool shape that he'll apply quite often. So we get a D note on the fifth string of the fifth fret of the fifth string. The A comes in the fifth, in other words, on the second fret of third string, and we have an octave of D on top there. Very cool sound. Sounds great with distortion. So next up is a copy of the intervals that we saw from the D major fifth string example. However, this time we're rooted on the sixth string, creating the chord of A major. So we got an A, C sharp, and an E coming just root third fifth off the sixth string, fifth fret there. If we cut out the octave of A normally seen on the fourth string, if we're in fifth position, we can get an instantly nice open chord sound, open voice sound. So we have our root, our fifth, and then the third there on third string. And by losing the fifth chord tone from the E note, in other words, from that shape, we get a really cool sounding idea that's basically a major third off of the fourth and third strings with the A down below. Now keep in mind that this voicing does not contain a fifth degree chord tone, so this one is somewhat incomplete. So nothing on fifth string. You can just, for a lot of these, you'll have to use some muting technique where you're touching other strings that you want to mute out and kill out the sound with just basically the fleshy part of your finger that's not in use to fret whatever chord tones you require. Now, in my final example, we've got our fifth chord tone, the E in the bass. So we're going to go all the way up to the 12th fret here. And that's going to be our fifth in the bass. The major third will be on the fourth string. And then we'll have our root note up higher up on the third string, 14th fret. So the shape is a little bit of a stretch, but with some work put into it, it can be developed into your playing quite easily enough. Now keep in mind that I covered a bunch of major voicings here, so by all means use your knowledge of basic chord theory, flatten the third in other words, and plot out the associated minor chord voicings for all these shapes as well. Well, as you can tell, these chord voicings are really cool, and if you spend time working on them, you can come up with some very excellent sounds for your songwriting projects. As you might have noticed in the past, when you apply new chords into your repertoire, you also innovate new rhythm guitar parts most often as well. Plus, there's always the spin-off of chord shapes that you can use while you play guitar solos. Anyway, once again, that's all the time I have for today. As always, I hope this discussion has helped you. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great week, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.